Sylvia was never just a woman you noticed. She was a woman you remembered. Not because she was loud, not because she demanded attention, but because of her shoes. Before anyone saw her face, before they heard her voice, they saw them. Elegant, bold, unapologetic. Heels that clicked with quiet confidence, each step announcing her presence before she ever spoke. Her shoes weren't just fashion. They were identity, they were armour, they were memory. She had loved before. And lost. Derek, her first husband, 10 years of marriage. Gone. Loss doesn't arrive gently. It tears, it takes, and it leaves behind silence. For a long time, Sylvia lived in that silence. Until Nicholas. He came into her life quietly, unexpectedly, like light slipping through a crack in the dark. He made her laugh again. He made her believe that life didn't end with loss. And slowly, carefully, she allowed herself to love again. 7 years. A marriage rebuilt from broken pieces. A son, Christopher, growing into a young man. A home filled with life. And for a while, it worked. Nicholas was a chauffeur, a businessman. At his peak, he had 3 drivers working for him. Weddings, events, private clients, even celebrities. Money came in steadily. Confidence grew quickly. And somewhere along the way, reality began to blur. They spent more, lived bigger, chased comfort. Because after everything Sylvia had been through, she deserved it, didn't she? The first missed payment didn't feel like a warning, just a delay. The second, a mistake. The third, something they chose not to talk about. Letters started arriving. White envelopes. Red print. Important. Urgent. Unopened. Sylvia would place them neatly on the table, then look away. Nicholas would glance at them, then change the subject. It's just a slow period. It'll pick up. And she wanted to believe him. So she did, because the truth was far more frightening. Fear doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. It shows up in the quiet moments. In the hesitation before opening a letter. In the pause. When someone knocks on the door. In the way your heart races. Even when you're doing nothing at all. Sylvia began to live in that space. A space between knowing and pretending not to know. At night, she lay awake, her mind replaying everything, every decision, every purchase, every moment she chose not to speak. How did we let this happen? But she never said it out loud, and neither did he. Until the day, it could no longer be ignored. A letter, fixed to the front door. Repossession. The house was no longer theirs. Everything changed after that. Fast, brutally. Boxes replaced furniture. Memories replaced comfort. Their son, sent away to stay with family. Not because they wanted to, but because they had to. Nicholas, sleeping on a sofa. Sylvia, back in her mother's house. And the silence returned. But this time, it wasn't grief, it was regret. Regret is heavier than fear, because fear asks, what if? But regret asks, why didn't you? Why didn't you speak up? Why didn't you stop? Why didn't you see it? Those questions followed her everywhere, in the quiet, in the dark, in the spaces between every thought. If I had just said something. But it was too late. Then it got worse. Nicholas's car was taken. The last piece of his business. The last piece of his pride. And for the first time, he broke. I've failed. I've lost everything. She had never seen him like that, and it terrified her. Because if he had nothing left, what did that mean for them? That night. She sat in her room, her eyes drifting to the boxes. Shoes, dozens of them, carefully packed, carefully protected. the one thing she had refused to let go of. Her mother's voice echoed in her mind. If you sold those, you could probably buy another house. It had been a joke, but now it didn't feel like one. She picked up a pair, her hands trembling. Vintage, rare, beautiful. She took photos, uploaded them, set a starting price, £50, and then she closed the laptop and cried. Because it wasn't just a sale, it was a goodbye. To a version of herself she wasn't ready to lose. The next morning, she checked. £800. Her breath caught, then more, until it reached 3,000. For one pair. For the first time in months, she felt something unfamiliar. Hope. But it felt fragile. Like it could disappear at any moment. Saturday morning. The doorbell rang. She hesitated. Fear still sitting quietly inside her. Then she opened the door. A man stood there. Calm, gentle. I'm here for the shoes. She nodded, but something in his voice made her pause. You knew my wife. Confusion. She passed away last year. Silence. She saw you once, at an event. She couldn't stop talking about your shoes. Sylvia felt something shift. I didn't buy them for me, he said. I bought them because they made her happy. And in that moment, she understood. The shoes were never just hers. They carried stories, connections, meaning beyond her own life. And suddenly, letting go didn't feel like loss. It felt like purpose. So she sold more, not all at once, but slowly, carefully, each pair finding a new home, each sale lifting a little weight, until one day, she realised something. She wasn't losing herself. She was rebuilding. In the end, she kept just 2 pairs, not the most valuable, not the rarest, but the ones that reminded her of who she was, without everything else. Sometimes, the things we're most afraid to lose are the very things we need to let go of to finally move forward. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a new story. See you in the next one.